What is up? Need for Speed Racers. It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. Chevy Camaro SS drag tunes B through S plus class. There's some really good ones here, and there's some underwhelming ones as well, and I'm going to walk you through all of it. But you guys are about to see the drag build technique. I'm going to walk you through it as I build it. Once this hits the scene, everybody and their cousin are going to start building it this way, but just know that you did see it here first. And if you do see it here first, please like the video. Right now, you watching this, I had a huge amount of support from you guys at home. My last two videos have had over 10%, so 1 out of 10 of you actually will click the like button, but that's really huge. That gets that video in front of more people, and it literally is propelling these videos to much higher view count than they normally would get for me, and I would love to continue that if we could. It helps the channel grow. It helps me financially. It's not a huge boon, like these videos are making around 9 or 10 bucks, but at the end of the day, if more people see it, we can help me grow. Maybe we can turn the YouTube into a more full-time position way down the road. But regardless, that's my goals. But we're here now. You're there now. Click the like button if you would, please. I would appreciate that. I'll remind you in a bit. Let's dig into the B class. Now, here's the deal. Once you guys see how we set this up, that's it. All bets are off. Everybody's going to start doing it. I want you guys to do it. But nobody's building them like me yet. So let's dig into it. This is going to be kind of a world first because I don't think you guys have seen this anywhere else. I kind of tried to keep the hat, or the rabbit in the hat, until it was time to bring it out. So here it is. Once we've had some other content creators have a chance to shoot themselves in the foot with mid-tier drag builds, I'm going to bring you guys the real technique on how to build this stuff. All right, engine that we're going to use is the first engine over. It is the Iron Basic 5.7 liter V8, 295 brake horsepower when we start, and we double it. Here's the deal for drag racing, you guys. In that mode, everything changes. Grip, you have perfect grip. Suspension doesn't matter. It does make a difference, but suspension is trumped by horsepower. And so here's how you build it. You'll notice that we've got a lot of horsepower in the car, but the key here is the Elite Platinum off-road suspension and the Sport Bronze off-road tires. It's cringe, but it's how you get the car to have the most horsepower. And the horsepower is what gets you across the finish line first, because all the cars have the same grip. You're all going to do the same burnout. You're going to have 2 bars of boost, and that's it. Like, if you guys know, in the Golf, if we have off-road tires at the start, it just sits there and spins in all the gears. And when I tested the Golf and it didn't spin at all, I knew that something was up. And so I started testing, I started tuning, I started testing, I started tuning. And by default, there will probably be some exceptions, but I would say for like 99% of the builds, if you run Elite Platinum off-road suspension and Sport Bronze off-road tires, slide the slider as far to the right as you can slide it, because as we slide the handling slider further into the drift zone, you get more points to play with, thus allowing you to add more horsepower, which wins the races. So for the B class build, which is Omega Mid, by the way, it's not very good in B class. It's Elite Platinum induction and Elite Platinum ECU, Sport Bronze fuel system, and then Iron Basic exhaust, and then we run it naturally aspirated. There's no nitrous in drag racing, so don't buy any bottles of NOS. That doesn't matter. Like I said, Elite Platinum off-road suspension. If you do the Sport Bronze, you'll see the handling slider is 70%. As you tier into the gold, or excuse me, the silver, that gets us to 75, then 78, and then all the way to 80. So the deal is you want to get the Elite Platinum off-road so you get the most out of the handling slider, so we can slide it all the way to the right. Because in drag racing, handling doesn't matter if you're grip or drift, because we're driving in a straight line, baby. Tires. The worst tires you can put on the car is the key to go as fast as you possibly can. It's counterintuitive, it's stupid, but Sport Bronze off-roads bring that number down the furthest. So you'll see if we put on any other set of tires, it takes us into the A class. So that being the case, the Sport Bronze off-roads keep us in B. That's the key. You want to put a clutch in if you have additional points. In this case, with a stock clutch, I was 158. Put in the Sport Bronze, 159. So use all of the points possible. Make your suspension and tires the worst it can be, and then put in the right transmission for the class. And then if you have extra points, put in the clutch. I just taught all of you how to do a build in drag racing. Build it. Let me see what you got. I'll have more to come because you guys obviously know I'm going to test all the engines and find you the best ones. And as we tier up, you'll see that. But that's the secret sauce. That's it. In the Camaro, there's a 2-speed transmission. Okay, that's cool. Except you make one shift. So when you do your perfect burnout, you've got 2 bars of boost. You never get up to 3 bars, which is kind of a bummer because that 3 bar of boost is huge. So that being the case, you got to make sure that you use your boost in the right place to maximize. This Camaro is not as good as a lot of other cars in the B class. You're going to get walked by every 130 mile per hour cheese build in both quarter mile and half mile tracks. This doesn't have enough time to overtake them. This will go about 146, 147 with some redline tech, but it doesn't get there till late, and they're already far enough ahead of you that it's hard to catch up. So in some of the free roam playlists, I've walked the cheese builds, but it's isolated tracks. So for B class, it's not that great. And as you put in a 3-speed or 4-speed transmission to get a little bit better gearing, it just takes it so far out of the class. You have to take horsepower out. It makes the car slow. Elite Platinum differential on every single build, you guys. No questions asked. Make sure you do that because you want the most out of your handling slider. Auxiliaries don't do anything in drag racing, so save your money, don't buy it. Handling, slide the slider 80% drift always. Unless you're in S+, run it grip, run it wherever you want. I'm still testing full drift versus full grip on the same car to see if there's big differences, and I haven't noticed anything that was like outstanding. So we'll just see how it goes. Steering sensitivity doesn't matter. Downforce all the way high in this case so we can make it fit into B class because that's the only spot that is B159. As we tier up, if you've got room, you want to run the downforce all the way low. That's going to give you the best acceleration. Traction control doesn't matter. Drift entry doesn't matter. Cool. That's the B class Chevy Camaro SS. Probably the weakest build out of all of them I'm going to show you today. 141 for the top speed. Like I said, 146 with the redline tech. 647 on the horsepower, 740 on the torque. It's okay. It's not great. I don't love it, but let's move on to A class and start getting you better builds. All right, A class. Now this one's kind of saucy. So let me show you what we've got here. The engine that we're running in this one is the first engine over, 5.7 liter V8, 295 brake horsepower when we start, and then we add like 1,000 horsepower NBD. Guys, keep in mind, this is A class. You'll see that we've got 1198 on the horsepower and 1199 on the torque. It's crazy, dude. Stay away from 0 to 60. That shit's not true. Stay away from quarter mile. That's not true. None of those times are even close, so don't ever worry about that. For the parts, Elite Platinum induction, ECU fuel system, Super Gold exhaust, Elite Platinum single turbo. The reason I went with the single turbo is very simple. More top speed. You want top speed. The Sentry added more torque, took out 1 horsepower. It says it's okay. It felt dog shit slow. I did not like it. I tried it with the roots, but both the roots and the screw takes us down off of our top speed. And in A class, we're drag racing. You really want to have that top speed. Now, guys, this build is on the fringe of fitting in the class. And by that, I mean, you'll see that I'm highlighting a part I've already got on the car, and it says A plus 210, even though it's A209 already. We're like 1 tick away from being 210 on a lot of different things. And so if you build out the car and it doesn't sit at A209, you can swap out one of the parts and come back, or just play with the handling a little bit. It'll stay, but it's like, it should not be here. We do run bronze nitrous because that shit don't matter. Elite Platinum off-road suspension because that's how we're doing it out here. No brakes, and then Sport Bronze off-road tires. No clutch. We didn't have any extra points. We do put in a 3-speed transmission. You'll see that if I drop to the 2-speed, it's 206. It was weird. It's like I highlighted the 3-speed for a second. It said A210, and now it's 209. The game doesn't know what to do with it because it's really like pretty scuffed. And we've got enough horsepower to go like 223. This would be the top of A+ class. But with the 3-speed, you do get another shift, kinda. So it does get that 3rd gear in there, but it allows us to do the bump shifting technique a little bit. It's not as easy as it is in the Boss, but it can be done. And then you run the Elite Platinum diff, and then auxiliaries, we don't worry about it. Handling slider, slide the slider all the way 80% drift. Like I was telling you guys, the downforce is a little finicky. So if it says A plus 210, just mess with it a little bit and just slide it around. If it's all the way high, you should get 209. I rebuilt this car twice, and I kept running into this. It wanted to go into 210 a couple times, so just mess with it. This isn't going to come easy. Out of all the builds I think I've ever done, this is one of the most finicky ones, but that's how we get 1198. We'll round up 1200 horsepower into A class. It's a little wild. 165 for the top speed. This walks damn near everything in A class. Don't get me wrong, I'm certain that there are other cars out there. I doubt that I got the most meta build in the game on the first try on the second day of it being out, but maybe. I'm just saying that this has got some ridiculous power and it's pretty fast. Let me show you the sauciness that I've got in A+. A+, I've got two options for you. The one I'm going to show you first is the one that I used in the gameplay footage. It slays, but I've also been testing this other engine that I've got, and I'm going to show you both. Choose whatever one you think is best for yourself. There's pros and cons to both, so do with what you think. I think the second engine might be a little better for some of the tracks because you get an extra shift, but this one has got so much power that it just walks everything. All right, let's dig into it. So the engine that we're going to use in the first build, which is what I use in the gameplay footage, is the last engine over. It is the 5.1 V8 hybrid. It is $14.89 when we start, and we go up a ways. You're going to do Elite Platinum everything because that's what it comes with, and then you're going to slap in the screw supercharger. Okay, cool, no problem. No nitrous. For the suspension, we had extra points, so I put in the Elite Platinum regular suspension. There is no way to fit the Elite Platinum road suspension in this car with this engine. I tried. Every way I could think of, I couldn't make it fit. Because the road suspension does make the car accelerate a little faster, but in this case, regular fits do that. Cool. And then no brakes, stock tires, iron basic tires. The reason is because we don't need to do the Sport Bronze off-roads. We had extra points to play with, so if you run just the regular tires, you're good to go, and it does accelerate a little bit better because of that. Elite Platinum clutch, I guess. If you take the clutch off, you still can't make better parts, so it's run the Elite Platinum clutch. 2-speed transmission, only thing that works with this engine. I did everything I could, every trick in the book to try to make the 3-speed fit, and it just won't with this engine. So 2 speeds what we're stuck with, and then Elite Platinum diff. Auxiliaries don't matter. Handling, you're going to want to run it at 50% drift. You can run it higher but not lower. As you tier that up, it does. For myself, I was only finding about 1 to 2 tenths at the end of my races, but 50% drift is the lowest we can go. You want to have as much grip as possible, so the further you get into the grip side of things, the better the car does perform, but horsepower will trump that slider every time. So you always want to slide it to the right, go full drift, tune it all the way out, and then build it as high as you can, and then back stuff off, or just watch the video and trust that I spent way too much time figuring it out. Steering sensitivity doesn't matter. Downforce, pretty much whatever you want. A couple spots in there is 269. Lower is better, so it's 3 clicks from the right of center, 1, 2, and 3. That's a 269. Traction control, other stuff doesn't matter. What that's going to give you is the build in the video: 194 for the top speed, 1558 for the horsepower, 1904 for the torque. It's nuts. You will walk everything in first gear, and then you click into second. But because you only get one shift, because it's a 2-speed, you will never see a 3-bar of boost. You only get that one perfect shift bump one time, and so we're leaving a little bit of performance on the table, and that's where the second build is something you can work with. So if you want to go with build option 2, you buy the 8.0 liter W16. That's the Bugatti engine. By equipping the W16, we now have got some options. Those options do include going to the 3-speed transmission, and then we put our off-road tires back on the car, and then we slide our slider heavier on the downforce and then heavier on the drift. Cool. So now we're right there. What the build is here now is W16, Elite Platinum everything with the screw, no nitrous. You keep the Elite Platinum regular suspension, no brakes, Sport Bronze off-road tires, Elite Platinum clutch, 3-speed transmission. That third gear is great because now you To have a 2-bar off your burnout, first to second, half bar, second to third, 3-bar, boom, we're flying. You're never going to do that in the quarter mile. You're barely going to get it off in the half mile, but in the free roam drag races, those are longer. That's when it's going to click in. Elite Platinum Diff, you definitely want it. Auxiliaries don't matter. Handling, 55% drift, steering sensitivity, whatever, downforce all the way high. You're good to go. That's both options. A case can be made for both of them. This engine has less horsepower and torque. 1480 on the horsepower, 1225 on the torque, 3-speed transmission. So we're trading horsepower and torque for an extra gear, 3-bar of boost. Is it a good trade-off? Not really. If you look between the two engines, and we're only looking at horsepower, the quarter mile and the top speed don't matter because I didn't change the transmission for comparisons, but they're really, really close as far as their overall times. So this engine sounds better. That's what I would run, and that's what I run in the gameplay footage you guys are going to see. Let me show you what we've got for S-Class. You've seen this build before because it is virtually identical to the A-Plus class. Last engine, 5.1 liter V8 for the parts. Now here's the deal. We had the ability to put the transmission in here, so that's what we do. It's Elite Platinum everything with the screw, Elite Platinum road suspension. There we go, boys. Stock tires. There was just no benefit. I couldn't make anything else fit, and the stock tires are better than the off-road tires. You're going to put the Elite Platinum clutch. 4-speed transmission. You can do 3, you can do 4. 5 didn't work. We had to make some trade-offs. That wasn't really making a lot of sense to me. So 3 or 4-speed. Go with what you feel. It doesn't really change a lot. Bump shifting is a little tougher in this car, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my other drag video. I'll link it at the end. That I explain what bump shifting is. It's a pretty cool little technique. But at the end of the day, 4-speed's fine. Elite Platinum Diff, you need that for the handling slider. Auxiliaries don't matter. Handling, 80% drift, run it to the right, downforce all the way high. That's going to keep you right there at 329. What that does is give you a good S car for drag racing. 1558, 1904. It goes. It's a good car. I've got something else cooked up that I think is pretty fast, and you get to use all the gears, and so you end up accumulating a ton of boost as you run through them. But we'll see. It's for another video. Spoiler alert, S Plus is the same. But hey, it's all good. Let me show you what we've got for S Plus in case you maybe didn't know how to build it. S Plus, here it is. It still wins, but the only changes are, like, I put nitrous in because it's S Plus. You don't use it. I put brakes on because it's S Plus. I wanted to get the car to 400 is the whole purpose for why I bought those parts. You don't need to, so just make sure you put the screw in with the last engine over, which is the hybrid. And then for your parts, screw, supercharger, Elite Platinum road suspension, and then Elite Platinum road tires. The road tires are the best tires for virtually everything when it comes to just acceleration. I was testing all the tires earlier, and I was getting better times consistently with the road tires. So if you have the opportunity to fit that into your build, go with road tires. But you always want to have max power first, then slap on the road tires. Power trumps tires, power trumps transmissions, power trumps pretty much everything. As long as you're getting to your top speed before the end of the race, you're good. If you're not getting to your top speed, you need more power and you need less parts. The rule of thumb. Elite Platinum clutch, yay. 5-speed transmission, yay. You'll never really use it unless it's the long free roam races. The half mile and the quarter mile, you're not going to see anything higher than third. You're just not. You just don't go that fast. Elite Platinum diff, yay. You want that because we're going to run the slider towards the grip. Auxiliaries, don't worry about it. So when you can, run your slider 40% to the grip side of things. More grip, more better. But by default, if you're going to buy a car and just set it up, you buy Elite Platinum off-road suspension. You buy Sport Bronze off-road tires. You buy Elite Platinum differential. You buy, once you've got all that on the car, you come in here, you slide your slider all the way full drift, run your downforce all the way high. Now you've set the car up to put the most power in it. Power first. Then know what class you're building for. If you're building for B class, good luck. Try to find something that can go 240, 250 if you can, or 140 or 150. If you're doing A class, 160-ish is what you'd like to see. A plus class, you better be doing at least 200 mile an hour, and you better have thousands of horsepower. And as you tier up, we're basically getting S plus performance at A plus with some of these cars. So I know I'm running long in this video, but this is the first one where I've really walked you guys through my mental state for drag racing, and I've not found a way to make them faster. And I had myself, the guys in the lab, shout out to the Cornnut crew. There was a handful of us just building and working on cars and trying different ones against each other to find out, hey, what is the best way to build this stuff? And when I was walking everybody, and they're like, what's your build? And I send it to them, they're like, that's cursed. I'm like, I know, and it's fast. That's where we're at. All right, gameplay footage right after this. I run every class B through S plus with the builds that I've shown you here because I want you guys to see how they perform. That way you can get a feel for where you want to build the car because the engines are kind of expensive. So I think A plus is the place, honestly, for this car. It slays. I am so thankful to you guys. If you made it this far, for real, like the video. Drop a comment. If you're a legend and you've already liked the video and you want to go above and beyond for the Cornnut man, just drop a comment and be like, hey man, I'm loving the videos, or these builds are great, or some people call me the GOAT. I don't really think I'm the GOAT. That's the greatest of all time. That ain't me. But I am super happy to make content for you guys, and I'm really if you guys watch my previous videos, I don't normally be like, hey, please comment, please like the video, but leveraging you guys, my friends, my community, my fans, and having you guys interact with that video is really helping me a lot. And so that's why everybody says it, but like, I want you guys to know that like I'm really actually seeing the change in the way the algorithm works, and it's because you guys are helping. So thank you. That's, yeah, get used to it, boys. I don't want to be beating a dead horse though. Thank you. See you in the gameplay footage. Bye-bye. All right, B class. It's not very good at B because it's not a cheese car. There's no, like, it doesn't just cap at 130 and then stop. We've got the big end, but a good launching car that only does 130 is going to take us to the cleaners pretty much every time. I'll show you what I mean right here. We use our boost to try to keep up with this dude. We just don't have the juice. Mind you, now we start gaining on him, but it's too late in the race for that to really make a huge difference. Got the win, that's cool, but I didn't really see him use NOS or anything like that, so I think he probably would have had us if he used his boost. Plus, he should have had a 3-bar of boost. And if you save it till you're at the big end on the cheese cars that only do 130, you could temporarily boost them up to like 140. And that'll kind of help out with that. So, it's alright. There's not anything wrong with the Camaro, but like, we lose quarter mile. We lose a lot of the half mile. We just don't have the sauce, right? And see how that, like, he shot forward right there? That's that really nice shift, and he's got more gears, so he's going to get more of those bumps. More gears really is more better in the drag racing scene. So even though we've got a decent amount of horsepower packed into this thing, we just lose to the 180SX. So B class, this car's pretty washed. Now you know. A class, half mile drag racing. That Defender is a choice. We had 2 other opponents, but they quit out after they got walked in the first 2 races. So shout out to you if you quit out mid race when you're losing. That's a real winning strategy. So we only have 2 gears. We're not going to get a 3-bar of boost. I like to hit the boost right around 4K RPMs right there. That kind of gets us on the big end, lets the car start making power. This does about maybe 17s or 18s. Let's see what we got there. It's okay. Some tracks it'll do a 16, other tracks it does an 18. Depends on what route. 1750, not bad. I mean, we're not getting a 3-bar of boost, and we're still walking that Defender. But I don't know that the Defender is really like the bar we want to measure ourselves against. Yeah, when I get a super meta A-class car, you guys are surely going to know, but I wanted to do a bunch of builds for this car because everybody was asking about it. Like, a lot of people were like, ooh, Camaro SS. And it was like, it's alright. Boss is good, but SS is alright. But now that the tuning cat is out of the bag and you guys are seeing the tuning strategy, you watch, there'll be a bunch of other content creators just popping up like, oh, most meta build for this. And when you see them with off-road suspension and tires, you know where they got it. Funny how that works. Ooh, half-mile drag race. I forgot to hit record earlier. We haven't lost at all or even gotten close. That doesn't mean that this is the fastest drag car. It does mean that it's a good drag car. But it's got a serious problem. No 3 bars of boost. So we kind of got to work with that. Like, don't get me wrong, a good shift there is helpful because it gives us a little more of a zoom. But we're not going to get to that 3rd bar, so it's just like use the 2 bar kind of in the mid-range of the 2nd gear and just hold on tight. Oh, that was what, low 14? That's nothing crazy, but each track is different, so if you're comparing times, make sure it's the same one. So that was Duncan and Kennedy half-mile reverse. We did a 14:33. We were like 2 seconds ahead of the guy behind us. Now, that being said, a lot can happen in a drag race. You know, granny shifting, not double clutching, floorboard falls out of the Eclipse, laptop beeping, manifold failures. There's a lot that can go on. You know, 4 minutes of screen time for a 15-second race is pretty crazy. If you know, you know. All that being said, I don't think the Camaro's bad, but I know a lot of people are wanting to see it and build it because, you know, muscle car life. So here it is. Once again, same deal. I'm going to hit it whenever. It doesn't really matter. Somewhere in the mid-range. But the car's geared appropriately for this because we top out right at the end of the half-mile, which is pretty much what you want to be doing. So no red line tech necessary, cancel any time. It's alright, an A+. I don't mind it. It's fast, plenty fast. 14:48. I mean, we're dusting everybody else, so. But I don't know what they've got built. So, you know, we'll find more better cars as we progress. S-Class Camaro driving. Let's go. Get that perfect temperature burnout. So with this, because it's only got 3 gears, we get it going. Perfect shift. Once we're into 2nd and it kind of settles, I like to use the 2 bar right there, get it up to speed. Make sure we don't rear end this van up here. Shift again, and then just run with it. You're not going to get a 3 bar because we're limited on our gears. And so utilizing the boost early on in 2nd gear to kind of carry you through, I think is the move. Various different ways we can do it, but it seems to be working pretty well for me. Some of these drag races are really rigged. The one prior to that, I was going into oncoming traffic, me and the guy next to me, and then the other 2 guys were going with the flow of traffic. We had a whole ass roadblock in the middle of the street. Neither one of us could do anything. We crashed, and then the other 2 guys got 1st and 2nd. And I was like, well, that's cool. Thanks, video game. Really good playtesting from our developer friends. So right there, I usually wait till it gets around 6, boost through, put us into power, so that way when we get to 8, we'll have another little good shift. We didn't get the shift though because the green light was on and I shifted, but I didn't actually look at the needle on the mini-map like I've tried to tell you guys. But low 13s, you can hit a 12 in this if everything just goes perfect and you're on the right route. Not all routes are created equal. Somebody told me that if I steer left and right, it will make it so the car creeps forward a little bit. I haven't really been able to successfully get that off yet. Alright, we're going to hit it again as soon as we get into 7. Cool. So, pretty easy. Like I say, low 13s is what this car is really capable of. I'm not saying it's the fastest car out there, but if you're a fan of the SS and you're looking for a decent drag car, so far it's pretty good. I'm having no problems with it. S plus, woo, in the Camaro, yay. The half-mile PvP is not the strongest for this car, neither with the quarter-mile. This really, you need the long end, because that's where the top speed's at for this vehicle. It's like, we can actually go fast, but I tried to join a playlist in free roam, and nobody wanted the smoke. I rejoined a different lobby, nobody wanted that, and then, you know, got in here. It's like, it's not that we lose, but we're not dominating like we should. I mean, we're 0.2 of a second ahead. This car can be a lot faster for sure, but we need the ability to get up into the 230s and actually utilize the boost and everything that it comes with. So keep that in mind, you guys, if you decide to build it for S plus. I think it's far stronger at A plus and S, but alas, here we are. I mean, we've got essentially the exact same horsepower as A plus in S plus. We just have better clutch and tires and all the other stuff. But I mean, results are results. We can still beat these guys. The only reason they're ahead of me in points is because I was trying to turn on the camera during the race and I crashed. So that was my mistake. Shift just after the 8. We're going to wait till we're right there at the beginning of the 7 to hit it. We should get one more decent shift. We would have if we didn't get in the air there. Ooh, Crown Vic almost got us, but we got him. Guys, that's going to be the video. Give it a like if you haven't. If you've made it this far, that super helps me out. There's a lot of people that liked the last video I did because I encouraged you guys. And I hate to be a broken record, but when I normally have like 2% of the video viewers like it, and then it goes to 10% when I kind of remind you guys, it's huge. Like, it puts it in front of more people. And views equal pennies, but it kind of does add up a lot when more people see the video and like the video and stuff. YouTube puts better ads on it, and there's a lot. You guys really do help me out a ton by just looking it up like that, so don't think that I don't appreciate it and you're not doing something. McLaren almost got us, but we also didn't boost right. Regardless, you guys have a great rest of your day. I am super thankful to all of you. See you next time. Bye-bye.